saw on MSNBC today that evidently they're making a move in North Texas in their schools that they want to just push far right stuff. And I'm sure you've all heard about it, canceling where you can't say certain things. You have to show both sides of slavery and things of that nature. And I guess a bunch of kids went door to door and were talking and were like upset about it, and if they ultimately lost confidence in adults for it. My opinion has changed on this matter over time, but let's get into it. I'll keep it short and sweet. If you're young, if you're in your teens and you're upset at old people, you're upset at adults, and you feel like that we failed you, you're right. We failed you. You know, the Obama video where he's talking to Hassan, the guy's name, Minaj or whatever, and he's talking to him about how his daughter was asking would they keep the temperature, the climate was below 3.0, and it's already reached 2.0, something like that, and how, we got to work hard to keep it, He gave you the game in an interview. If you haven't seen it, I'd suggest you see it. He gave you the game, and, my point to them, my point to the young people would be, keep that energy. We let you down. We'll continue to let you down. I look at people like Dianne Feinstein passing and Nancy Pelosi, and I feel almost like politics jumped an entire generation. I could be wrong. Sometimes I feel like that. You're dealing with people who have no context or understanding of what climate change is or what it'll look like, and they won't even be around probably the next 10 years. I feel like merit comes from hardship. I used to always hear that as a kid, that merit comes from hardship. And, when it comes down to it, sometimes going through dark times can make you be more aware of reality. My mother's death. She died of a stroke when I was 13. I was 14. And it made me be more careful about my health and look into what birth control does and how it's dangerous when you're older to, do that, and how cigarettes and all that stuff affects you. And we're going to die someday, but it made me be more careful. My grandfather going through his gallbladder issues, going through the diabetic emergencies, so we had to rush to the hospital and stuff. That made me be, hey, like, maybe cool out on the shoulders. Maybe, these things that are so dark in the moment, I would tell a young person, like, keep that energy. And I would also say that, like, you have to fight, you have to fight to protect what you believe in, because no one else will do it if you don't do it. And the things you love right now won't be around when you get older. My grandfather told me when I was a kid, we saw like a Mercedes, and I was like, that's my car. And he was like, that they won't even have them when you get older. It was right on some things. Now I'm looking at, I wish I'd got a hybrid and stuff. And, he's right. He's right on that. Some of the values change. I mean, I still run the blender. He was wrong on that. I still run the blender and things of that nature. But yeah, you to the young people, like I said, I think when you're young, you think that, like, adults do what's right, and that adults ultimately do the things that they should do to keep society going properly, and that they're gonna, like, basically the adults are gonna, they may argue, but they're gonna come to the right decision eventually. And like, we may argue right now, but behind closed doors, we'll get straightened out. And you get to an adult and you realize that no. And maybe the people you are dealing with and don't know what's right. And that maybe we're all just moving along and dealing with the throes of disaster capitalism, and we're just doing the best we can with the tools we got in our hands. And maybe there is no, That's a part of growing up, is that, I would tell people, if I have kids, I want them to know everybody got an agenda. This bullshit about, gays pushing stuff on kids. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, my teacher, Mr. Hector, talked about his family all the time. Talked about his wife, talked about going on vacations and trips and all kind of stuff. This idea that, well, why are you pushing your homosexuality on my kids? You know, my teachers talked about their families. Oh, my wife is sick. Wife's in the hospital. They talked about it plenty of times. It's just homophobia. You're not actually talking about, it's just homophobia. And I'm at the point now to where I'd rather you just come out and be a racist or just go ahead and be who you are and don't bullshit and try to like use big words or hide your real opinion behind things. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, so ultimately, as I said, for them kids, because when I was younger, I didn't do that. You know, and we didn't, you know, there wasn't nobody thinking like that. And the fact that they're willing to go door to door about this stuff and you know, awareness of different things. And as you get older, you realize you really can't depend on nobody. You can't. And once in a while, you get a good one. You get a good one. You get somebody, you know, I got somebody right now, call them, get $1,000. Once in a while, and when you do, you better protect them. You know, I got a friend of mine lost his job recently because he got he had a bunch of points on his CDL from out of service and stuff, and I was like, I help you. You know, you never really know where life will take you. But you know, you got to protect the people who do right and who do care about you and appreciate you. Cause a lot of people don't. A lot of folks would do you dirty. So I hate to say that because a part of me hoped that some of the things as a kid I saw and heard, we'd move to a future beyond those things. And now I'm looking at a world that in some ways is worse. The mass shootings, the school shootings, the MAGA bomber, and it is in some ways a lot worse. The war has come home. I keep saying it. The war has come home. Versus terrorism. And it is a problem of indefinite duration. This is a matter of indefinite duration. I can't imagine having kids and looking at this stuff and just thinking that you get in a crisis and, no matter what I do, my kids can get hurt. I can't imagine that. As I get older, I think about that sometimes. I don't want kids, but I think about that sometimes, how, you really, you've got to be concerned with things you would be concerned with otherwise, and aware of things you may be aware of otherwise. I just, as I said, for those kids, if you feel like adults, failed you, it's because we did. And maybe you're just starting to get on board with the fact that climate change and pollution and all the things we have done nothing to fix, they're staring us in the face. We failed you. And all I can say is learn from it, grow from it. I mean, I don't want to put hardness in your heart. I don't want to make nobody cold, but the world is what the world is. We've got a bunch of people who really don't care about the next 20 years in this country or the world. They don't care. And that is their politics. I don't care what happens. I don't care what happens in 10 minutes. I don't care what happens 10 minutes from now. Yeah, that's that. We got to understand that now for the young people. You got to understand that, because I thought Republicans were like, I believe in God and I don't believe in sexualizing children, but I do. Like, that's not it. They don't care about science. There is nothing you can pull out of that book or out of that lab. There's nothing a man in a lab coat can get you that will make them have an opinion that will agree with you. There is no come to Jesus. There is no conclusion. There is no magic potion to bring them to your side. That their politics, Republican, is like a religion. It is. It's like a religion, and that motivates everything they do. And so for me, I didn't know that when I was young. I know that now. These are your enemy. When I listened to Nick Fuentes, Young Turks had him on. They were playing a clip of him talking about how he wants to be rich. He wants all white people to be rich, and he hates poor people. And Jink was like, "Oh, this is so bad." No, it's not. You don't get it. Nick Fuentes is my enemy. He's a Nazi. Anybody riding with Nazis is my enemy. I'm not looking to fucking go out here and counsel people and try to Dr. Phil you and anthropomorph. I'm not here to do that stuff, man. You know, now some people have to go along and, hey, that's their business. That's my enemy. And when Trump made the statements about military being suckers and losers, I didn't get mad about that. I'm not trying to worship military people. He told you what it was. He told you how rich people see you. Well, I joined the Marine Corps. I laid in the mud and had some guy scream at me for 6 months. Ha, 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 I'm a Marine. Look at my uniform. Oh, that's great. I made $1 million last year. All the people you know combined ain't made $1 million last year. Okay? He's telling you what it is. We gotta stop this moralistic bullshit. It don't get you nowhere. It's moralistic bullshit. It's not about that. It's about materialistic shit. They're telling you how the game works. And that's my interest. My interest is not in trying to reason with Nazis and counsel and have them cry on my shoulder. I just think that for young people, this is a moment that this was you being asleep and someone throwing a bucket of cold water in your face. Welcome to the real world.